currently, our school, as well as Gillis Sweet and the middle school in Parkview, all recycle paper. The high school and the middle school also recycle plastic, glass, aluminum, and cardboard. During a recent trash sort, we found out though that we're not recycling as much as we could, so we're currently working on a plan to educate students and improve our recycling process. And some of my environmental science students would like to explain to you a little bit more about that.
Well, I think energy is wasted in our school about how much waste we produce, and we don't do a lot to recycle it. So we're just using too much waste that it just has too much, that wastes too much energy.
Well, we can educate everyone like what to recycle, like such as like paper, plastic, glass. That should go into a recycling bin, not into the trash can.
And the more we get people to reduce the amount of waste that they use, the better energy that we save.
I think a couple of the issues that we have with energy in the school, one relate to the age of the building. Obviously, many sections of this building are very old, and so we do have some efficiency issues just due to the age of the building. Another thing that I would like to see us do in the near future is to have the automatic light switches in each classroom. I know we don't have that right now, but we do have a lot of time where we have lights on in classrooms and don't really need all those lights on in the classroom. Sometimes we leave projectors on a little bit too long, things of that nature. So it boils down to an efficiency aspect as to why we lack in that sometimes. Some of the things I just mentioned about being more cautious about keeping the lights on and turning lights off when not in use. I think in the winter months, for example, making sure that we have all of our entryways and exits closed as much as possible. I think that can assist also. A long-term goal to save energy would be to transition this building into more of a geothermal approach and use more green energy when it comes to heating and cooling the building. But that's a kind of a costly upfront venture that would need to take place throughout the entire building. But in the long run, I think that would be one way that we would go about saving energy.
Gas and electricity. We have also in our system a steam boiler that actually runs through the school and basically heats up school classrooms and stuff. So, electricity mainly. We have different air conditioning units that actually runs through electric that cools down each of our classrooms. That would be electricity and gas. We have a huge hot water tank down in our boiler room that holds up to 100 gallons worth of water that gives water to this whole facility. That would be electricity again. Basically, we have a system where it's automated, where when you walk into a classroom, the lights pop right on. Basically, it's just electricity on that. We recycle paper, plastic. We're trying to implement on having a system where throughout the whole school we'll have containers in here for each classroom. Faculty probably keeping windows open during the winter time, running air conditioning units in the summer when we really don't need them to be ran. Basically, we're already doing that through an automated system where everything's ran by a computer right now, and basically it's all by computer where it turns on the heat and turns on the air when it's set in that particular run or area. We could insulate piping. We could possibly build a turbine, have one in the back of the building, and that would generate electricity. Just a lot of common sense stuff, you know, keep a door shut, window shut.
All of our fleet is ran on diesel. We get our diesel from the city of Fairview Park, by City Hall. All the drivers have the liberty to go in there to fill up their buses when they're empty. Most of our motor vehicles, our snow plows, our miniature school bus, our school vans are ran on natural gas. Seeing that with Fairview Park Schools, we transport not only Fairview Public, we also transport to St. Angeles, we transport to St. Raphael's, Messiah Lutheran, St. Paul Lutheran, Ruffin Montessori. On a daily basis, to Polaris with the high school students, on a daily basis, we transport about 800 students. I think energy saver lights would be good. I mean, I know there's most times here in my office that I try to save energy by turning off the lights when I'm not in here, but if it was some kind of timer system where the lights can go off automatically, I know during the summer months, May and June, it's kind of hot in the building. If the air conditioner's on, I see some windows up. I think everyone is just being cognizant of treat the school like it's your house.
Month for our gas, a high month in the middle of winter, we'll pay about upwards of $16,000 to $17,000. If you take electric could be around $12,000 if you take it in the height of the school year. In the summer, since we don't really have any of our boilers running that much, we could be as low on gas as $1,500. And our electrics will stay probably around, will probably stay pretty consistent because we still have air conditioning running in some of the buildings. It really depends on which building it is. Some of our buildings are, like Gillis Sweet, our newer buildings aren't going to use as much energy. Some of our older buildings, like the high school, middle school, are going to use a little bit more. Some of the waste we might see is by keeping computers on at night when you go home. Some other things is depending on how much water it's used in the bathrooms. We've done a pretty good job of, when you look at some of the projects we've done, conserving, replacing the light fixtures and the outlets, we've done some pretty good job of capitalizing on the savings. Yeah, it's not really anyone's fault, but a lot of times just because of the outlets we use. They make different types of outlets now that are called smart outlets that we use that will cut down. Like once a computer's fully charged, they'll turn it off rather than continuing to charge it. So there are other ways like that we can look at, that we're going to look at in the near future to help save. If we look at things like the newer technology and looking at the newer outlets that they have, the newer power strips, that's going to help us save by turning things off on a walking system and not being used.
I've noticed is if I'm looking at the trash cans, okay, we don't have enough recycling containers for our plastics and our aluminum cans because it's just, they're piled high. My trash can is piled high with water bottles and soda bottles and stuff. So I think we can recycle that and save a little bit of energy there. So, and you haven't noticed, temperature is not quite the same as a little ago in the building. So I don't know if there's anything that can be done about that with our heating system, but it's probably old and needs to be updated. I think the obvious one is to turn off the lights if you're not in the room. If you're not using your computer, turn it off. I'm the biggest offender of not turning off my computer if I'm not in the room because I know that I need to take the time to turn it back on again. And we all do something
Gas to cook food. I don't feel we're wasting energy through the cafeteria at all. The main cooking site is at Gill Suite and preps meals for all the feeding sites and transports into individual buildings. In our department, we are saving or conserving energy by not having unnecessary equipment on or in other sites that is not being used.
They leave the lights on too long, and there's too much stuff plugged in every single classroom, and the computers aren't turned off at the end of every single day.
We have the heat on, we keep the windows open, and that wastes our energy. Charging our phones takes up a lot of energy. Charging all the notebooks every single night.
Using the laptops, because like we have to plug them in and charge them, and it takes like a lot of energy to do that, and if everybody has one, then that's a lot of energy.
And we have a team, there's usually 3 students who go out and they do that recycling. There's a big bin here, and they rotate. Some days they go upstairs to recycle, other days they go downstairs to recycle. So today it looks like an upstairs day. Depending on where a teacher's classroom is, it might seem like 2 or 3 days would go by until the recycling happens, but it does get done every day. The materials they're looking for are the paper, of course, and the plastic, the water bottles, and any cans that might be around. Those are all collected and then separated and then distributed to the recycler in different bins. That we can do to definitely save energy would be to reuse the materials that we often throw out. So for example, everybody's real fond of those water bottles. You go to the grocery store, you can buy a 24 pack for $4. You drink the bottle, you throw it out, okay? What you could do instead of buying those is you can bring a reusable water bottle, because a big part of recycling is reusing what you already have, because then you don't have to use new materials. So by reusing things and not throwing things away, that's going to save energy, because now those materials don't have to be melted down and recycled.
Okay.
When you think about wasted energy and wasted materials, think about how quickly we throw paper away. If you need to write a note down, sometimes we'll take a whole sheet of notebook paper, scribble a note, use it, and throw it out. Using smaller pieces of paper or reusing paper that was already written on one side for a note, that can save energy, because now you're getting more than one use out of the same piece of material. So it really is about a mindset about how you're using what you already have and what you can do to save on those materials.